Hi everyone, welcome back for Mercy Watson to the Rescue. This is part 3 of my reading. We left off where the fire department had just shown up. So what were some of those predictions that you made? Take a moment to think about it. Okay, let's see if you were right. Chapter 8. Ma'am, said Lorenzo to Baby, did you call the fire department? Oh dear, said Baby, I did not, but Eugenia may have called. Who is Eugenia? Asked Ned. My sister, said Baby. Is that her? Asked Lorenzo. The one chasing the pig? So make sure you're thinking. Okay, picture who's chasing the pig? Eugenia's chasing Mercy. Okay. Yes, said Baby, that's her. Baby and Ned and Lorenzo watched Eugenia chasing Mercy through the yard. Lorenzo cleared his throat. What was the emergency exactly? Asked Ned. I thought I saw a monster at my bedroom window, said Baby, but it was not a monster. It was Mercy. Mercy? Said Lorenzo. The pig, said Baby, the pig who lives next door. I see, said Ned. Eugenia does not care for Mercy, said Baby. In her opinion, pigs belong on farms. There's something to be said for that opinion, said Lorenzo. Ned nodded. Help! Shouted a faraway voice. Help! Help! Help us! Did you hear that? Asked Ned. Somebody is in trouble, said Lorenzo. Let's go. And there's Lorenzo and Ned following behind. Chapter 9. Oh my goodness, look at that. Were you right in what you thought was going to happen so far? Let's see. Chapter 9. Ned and Lorenzo ran toward the call for help. They went into the Watsons' house. Help! Ned and Lorenzo looked up. They saw a bed hanging out of the ceiling. They saw Mr. and Mrs. Watson holding on to the bed for dear life. They look very frightened. How would you feel if you were in that situation? Very scared, right? We are saved, cried Mrs. Watson. Of course we are saved, said Mr. Watson. Mercy had alerted the fire department. Did she really? She is amazing, said Mrs. Watson. She is unbelievable. She is a porcine wonder. Porcine is a pig, said Mr. Watson. Ned and Lorenzo ran upstairs. They picked up Mr. and Mrs. Watson. The Watsons' bed sighed loudly and crashed all the way through the floor. So, were you right that the bed was going to come crashing through the floor? Thumbs up if you were, thumbs down if you were wrong, and it's okay if you were wrong. Now, did you think Mr. and Mrs. Watson were going to crash through the ceiling with the bed? Or did you think they were going to be rescued? Okay, let's see. Boom! Mr. Watson looked at the hole where the bed used to be. I have always believed very firmly in the fire department, said Mr. Watson. As have I, said Mrs. Watson. As have I. From outside the Watsons' house came a squeal, like a squeak or a noise. Gotcha! Shouted Eugenia. Chapter 10. Ned and Lorenzo and Mr. and Mrs. Watson all went outside. Eugenia was sitting on the ground. Her arms were wrapped around Mercy's neck. Her cheek was resting on Mercy's back. Eugenia was breathing very loudly. So how would you describe Eugenia right now? She looks tired or exhausted from that chase. And what about Mercy? Yeah, she's smiling, so she's kind of happy. Maybe she was entertained by it. This pig, she said, was on my property. We'd prefer that you did not call her a pig, said Mrs. Watson. We would prefer that you call her a porcine wonder, said Mr. Watson. After all, she did save us. She's a hero. She's a pig, said Eugenia. She started to cry. There, there, sister, said Baby. She bent over and patted Eugenia on the back. Mercy yawned. She was very tired. I guess that's it, said Ned. Yep, said Lorenzo. Our work here is done. Wait, said Mrs. Watson. It's almost time for breakfast. Oink? Asked Mercy. That's right, breakfast, said Mrs. Watson. She kissed the top of Mercy's head. She looked up at the firemen. Do you boys like toast? Chapter 11. In the Watsons' house, around the Watsons' kitchen table, sat Eugenia, Lincoln, and Baby Lincoln, and Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson, and Ned and Lorenzo, and Mercy, of course. She was at the head of the table in the seat of honor, and in front of her, on her favorite blue plate, was a very tall stack of hot buttered toast. A toast to Mercy, said Mr. Watson, holding up his glass of orange juice. A toast to our darling, our dear, said Mrs. Watson. A toast to Mercy, said Baby. And they're all holding their glasses up to toast. They're toasting her because her actions led to the fire department coming, so she's the hero. Even though Eugenia called the fire department for help to capture Mercy. In my opinion, said Eugenia, pigs should not be toasted. In my opinion, pigs do not belong at the kitchen table. To our hero, said Mr. Watson. Where would we be without Mercy? Yes, said Mrs. Watson. Who would have saved us? I can't imagine, said Ned. Me neither, said Lorenzo. They all clinked glasses. When you cheers and you hit the glasses together, it makes the clink sound. Mercy had another piece of toast. Chapter 12. Outside the Watsons' house, the sun was rising. First the sun was red, and then it was orange. It rose higher and higher. Inside the Watsons' house, Mercy was lying on the couch. She was getting ready to take a nap. Bright, bright is the morning sun, sang Mr. and Mrs. Watson together. But brighter still is our porcine wonder. Mercy smiled. She closed her eyes. She was asleep before Mr. and Mrs. Watson even finished the song. And that's the end of book 1 of the Mercy Watson series, Mercy Watson to the Rescue. So I hope you enjoyed the book. I'm going to read another book from the series later on. I'm just waiting for it to come. I ordered it because this one I had. I didn't have the other one here at home, only at school. I would love for you to draw a picture of your favorite part and maybe put a little caption underneath it. That's a caption is a sentence or a couple of sentences explaining your favorite part. You can also, if you want to challenge yourself, write an opinion piece of why you think this book was great or exciting, however you want, whatever you want your opinion to support. If you didn't like the book, you can also write an opinion piece of why you didn't. But I know that most people tend to like this book because Mercy is a pretty funny character. Thanks for joining me, and if you want to share your drawings or if you did a writing piece, feel free to email it to me at anderson@ps100x.org. That's ANDERSON@ps100x.org. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Have an awesome day. Bye.